Let me know if you've heard this before. Ohio State is having to shuffle around its offensive line because of injuries, but they still hope to win a national championship at the end of it. Worked out pretty well last time they did it. Yeah. And then it's over there, too. It's over there. Means Stefan Krajisnik and Andrew Gillis. Austin Saraveld and Philip Daniels did not practice on Saturday when we were in here for practice number 8. And then Ryan Day revealed on Monday when we talked with him that they will both miss the rest of the spring. Both had minor procedures done. It's not supposed to be anything long-term. They should be back by the summer. But what that is doing, Stefan, is it is opening a wide-open opportunity for Carter Lowe and Sam Greer and Ian Moore to show Ohio State why they should be starting tackles in 2026.
Yeah, and the way Ryan Day talked about it is kind of exactly what you want to hear of. Sure, Austin Saraveld and Philip Daniels are going to be out for the rest of the spring, but they're going to be back in the summer. They're going to be full go, which means, especially by the time you get to August for preseason camp, they're going to be available, right? So if you're not losing anything in the long term with those two guys being injured, then all you're getting from this is an opportunity for those three guys you mentioned, Ian Moore, Carter Lowe, Sam Greer, to get more opportunities, get more reps with the first team, right? And the way Ryan Day was talking about it was also like, not only are you getting reps with the first team in terms of like you're standing next to, Luke Montgomery or whoever it may be, you're also going up against Kenyatta Jackson and Quay Russaw and Bo Atkinson and Zion Grady, all these different options who are coming along the defensive line. You're going up against those guys, and we saw it. The spring student appreciation practice that we saw here on Saturday, where they got after Carter Lowe a little bit, and they tried to get after Ian Moore. I thought Ian Moore, kind of held up better, but you would also kind of expect that from a more veteran guy than what Carter Lowe is, who I think all three of us think is going to be really good. He's just young, right? Like he's still coming along, right? Like this is just. It just opens the door to more options. And now if we had these conversations throughout the spring. Ryan Day, the first time he talked about the O-line kind of shot it down, but then today was very open about it, just the idea of a guy like Austin Saraveld moving inside. And I think all of us were in agreement that if that were to happen, like, you better have someone you're damn sure about at left tackle, right? Because that is the most important spot. That's Julian Saint's blind side, right? Like, whoever is stepping in at left tackle for Austin Saraveld, it's not happening because Austin Saraveld is your best right guard. It's because someone has proven that they're caliber or starting caliber at left tackle. And the way Ian Moore looked in that first practice, the way he looked against Miami in the second half of that Cotton Bowl when he had to step in, he looked up to par for it, right? Like, he looked like someone who can do it. So if he does that the rest of the spring, and we'll see it, in their last practice, which is the spring game, we'll have a pretty good idea, I think, going into the summer of if Ian Moore is ready to be Ohio State's starting left tackle. And the way his teammates talk about him as a future first-round pick, the way we know some of the people on the staff talk about him as a guy who could play in the NFL, all right, drawing comparisons to some really notable guys in the NFL. Like, there is an opportunity there for Ian Moore, and that's glaring right now at the fact that, like, this is there. Like, Austin Saraveld is out for the rest of the spring. All these first-team reps are probably going to go to you, Ian Moore, at left tackle. Go win the job. Because if you do, I think we all feel really good about this offensive line because they still have 4 starters returning. And I don't think any of us are projecting that Luke Montgomery, Carson Hinsman, Austin Saraveld, or Philip Daniels aren't going to start for this team. So if it's 4 returning guys, along with a guy who's shown you that he can be really good at left tackle, I think we feel really good about, Luke Montgomery and Carson Hinsman talked about wanting this unit to win the Joe Moore Award. And if that's the combination, and we know they have confidence in Ian Moore at left tackle, even though if nationally people are not sure about Ian Moore, I don't know why they couldn't compete for that award.
Yeah, there's almost this conversation going on that he might have the highest ceiling of that bunch, and he's going into year 3, so it is about time he started reaching that. Gillis, assuming that Austin Saraveld and Philip Daniels, we get out here for these June camps, and they're out here working out, and everything's perfectly fine. They were just getting stuff cleaned up, and they are A-OK good to go when we get back in here in June. This is only a good thing that Carter Lowe, Ian Moore, and Sam Greer are getting this many reps, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be a little different if, Austin Saraveld hadn't played left tackle as much as he did or as well as he did, or Philip Daniels hadn't played as well as he did. Like, if this was Devin Sanchez, and we were having the conversation about
Riley Pettijohn.
Not even with Riley, because like with Devin, it was like, well, he played last year, he's going to be a starter. Like, are we sure Riley Pettijohn starts? I'm not. Like,
I think that's kind of the point here. It's like he kind of needs these reps a little bit more than like what Austin and Philip do.
Well, it's the need of the reps, but it's also like look, like we know that like Devin's going to be a starter for this team, right? Like we know that Devin is going to be one of his 2 outside corners, but there's other guys on this roster where you're like, I don't know, like this could really hurt them as you get into the summer. You know that Saraveld's going to be a starter. I think there's maybe a little bit of debate about Daniels. But it's still like you feel 90+% that he's one of their best 5. So he's probably going to start. The thing though that I'm interested in, it's kind of tangentially related to the offensive line, is like the putting together of the running game. Because Ryan was talking about this today. Not only are you missing your left and your right tackle now for the rest of spring, and also Josh Padilla is limited this spring. So there's an interior lineman. You have your first running back out. You have your second running back out. You have an incoming freshman running back who is apparently a Tyreek Hill version, Tyreek Hill light, out. And now you're dealing with Turbo Rogers and who's the second-year player, Jacoby Jackson, a transfer from Florida who hasn't played a lot, and Favoraki. So, like, those are your 3. And Ryan said the passing game has been explosive. The running game has not. And they are looking for explosiveness out of the run game. I don't think you're going to get that this spring. I think when we get to August, which, by the way, less than 4 months now, but like almost about 4 months away, I think when we get there, there's going to be a lot of focus on the run game to make up for lost time because, right, he was like, oh, well, you can rep the blocking downfield with receivers and, intensity and things like that. You still can't make up for those lost reps because we talk about it with Bo. Isaiah West didn't play a lot last year. You need him to step into that role. So I think this offensive line and this running game are kind of blended together right now with injuries, and it can be a good thing down the line, but it's a little bit different because at running back, I think you're really going to need to hit the ground running, and I think at offensive line too, when you blend those things together come August, because the passing game right now, I mean, we saw it on Saturday. If you can block well enough, I think you can figure it out. The defense really dominated, but I think the focus over these next couple of months with who's coming back is just going to be how do we get this running game on par with what the passing game showed us in the spring.
And I think part of the reason the passing game is where it is right now is, one, veteran returning starting quarterback, veteran 2 starting receivers coming back, plus Kyle Parker and Kevin McEwen have a lot of veteranship. Brock Boyd. Oh, boy. Christian, there's just like depth there. It's almost – I think the best way I'm going to look at with the run game, if the run game does not look good in September, we're going to point back to this as the reason why it didn't look good is because, they can go through teaching periods and shells, but as soon as you put the pads on and as soon as it becomes live, all of a sudden Austin Saraville and Phillip Daniels and that might be the right side of your offensive line, to be frank about it. The right side of your offensive line and your top 2 running backs and your third running back potentially are all watching on the sidelines. And while it's good for, Carter Lowe and Gabe Van Sickle, and Josh Padilla's not a full participant this spring. So while it's good for Carter Lowe and Sam Greer and Gabe Van Sickle and Ian Moore and for Turbo Rogers, and who I think he was a little banged up on Saturday, and for Jacoby Jackson, and you wrote about Favorite Key on Saturday, that's great. But what about the guys who are going to be playing against Texas? So I think I agree with you, Gillis, which is why throw the ball shirt's coming real soon. Coming real soon, man. Coming real soon. If the run game is not clicking when they play Texas, we're going to go, hey, remember when all these guys missed spring practice and maybe didn't get healthy until the middle of summer, and then they spent all this time in fall camp having to work on it, but run games take time to come together in general? I'm with you. That's what I was thinking when he said all those things of we think we can have a good run game. We want to maul guys in the run game, but it might not look clean from the get-go because there's so many guys missing.
Can I clarify that? I think individually it's a good thing that you're getting Carter Lowe and Sam Greer.
Let's put it out there.
Totality, I don't think it's a great thing.
I'm with you. I asked about special teams, just where he felt about the operation in general, because we just hadn't asked about it. I don't know. The special teams did kind of cost him a football game last year. He said Connor Hawkins has made clutch kicks before. And he said that they've been doing creative things every single practice where they're trying to put them in high pressurized situation where you need to make this field goal. Stefan wrote about it on Saturday. We got a chance to see what one of those looks like, where if you make this kick, only the defense runs because the offense scored a touchdown. If you don't make this kick, everybody in the building runs. They also did say after further review, JJ was out of bounds, and so the offense had to run to make up for that today at practice. So that's good. For all of you who are out there saying that Jeremiah Smith's foot was out of bounds, the review agrees with you, But listen, man, it was Student Appreciation Day practice. I saw people saying, like, Devin McEwen was open on a slant. It's like, I get that. It's Student Appreciation Day practice. The students want to see Jeremiah Smith try to go over top of somebody. They don't want to see him make Julian Sand making the right read during that practice. But I think the special teams in general, they're putting them in those situations practice after practice. He was talking about how old they were at all three at the important spots, whether it's Joe McGuire as the punter or it's Connor Hawkins as the kicker. The name of the long snapper is escaping me, but he was saying that he's been the long snapper for the guy who's run the Lou Groza Award the last couple of years there. So the credentials check out. At the end of the day, it's like it sounds nice that they're putting them in these situations. Let's see what happens when it's 17-14 against Texas, and you need to have this field goal, whether or not Connor Hawkins makes it or not. But it does sound like they're aware of how important that has been the last couple of years, and are at least trying to do different things from a special teams aspect to put themselves in the position to win. Connor Hawkins, who's also already done it, which makes me want to go look at all his field goals from his career and see how often he's been in a situation where if you don't make this field goal, it's very detrimental to us, and what does he do with those opportunities?
Yeah, and I think that even translates to kind of a bigger picture thing that I took away from Ryan Day's presser today of just like Connor Hawkins is in this mix. Like, there's just some of these transfers that I think he's really starting to like now that there are 8 or 9 practices in here, right? Like the way he talked about Devin McEwen, the way he talked about James Smith, the way they keep talking about Earl Little, like by stocking Earl Little, the way they keep talking about him. Caleb Downs' name got brought up, and Ryan Day did the thing that we keep doing, like nobody will replace Caleb Downs, but this guy can do some of those same things. So, like, I think they're really happy with how this transfer class is turning out for them so far. And Connor Hawkins obviously being part of that mix. So that's intriguing because, like, you kind of have to have this transfer class hit, right? Like 2024, someone made a TikTok edit recently where it was like Will Howard and Quinshon Judkins and Seth McLaughlin, and it was like how awesome that 2024 transfer class was. And obviously there's a banner to reflect that. It also kind of makes you realize, like, last year's transfer class didn't really hit, right? And now this year it's a sizable class because you're replacing a lot, and you also lost a lot in terms of, like, the guys you had recruited. And now you're in the spot where you need these guys to hit. And for Earl Little, Devin McEwen, James Smith, Connor Hawkins to be talked about like that is crucial if this team wants to hang another banner.
Nobody was.
It was pretty good.
When you said TikTok edit, I went, huh?
I wish I could find it, I'm sure, but like it's pretty solid TikTok edit.
Nobody last year was special. Like, we had some, like, Max Clay was fine, but he wasn't special. C.J. Donaldson was fine, but he wasn't special. Dave was like, I'm really glad we got Terry Moore, Earl Little out of the transfer portal. If Earl Little is 65% of Caleb Downs, I think that's a success. Now, granted, the other 35% is why Caleb Downs is going to be a top 10 draft pick in a couple of weeks here, but if he is 65 or 60% of Caleb Downs, that's a hit. And that's what it sounds like. That's what's happening. So, listen, we can't replace the other 40%, where he's playing linebacker on third down and we're sending him on blitzes and he's like a supercomputer out there. But if we put Earl Little in these spots, he can do a little bit of those things. 614-350-3315, 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. Ohio State practice number 9 in the books. Spring game, a week and a half away. Steven, Stefan, Andrew, talk to you guys later.